This is the story of a Hollywood lawsuit that started as a dispute between a director and his lead actress, and has now grown into one of the most consequential celebrity legal battles in years one that could put Ryan Reynolds, Taylor Swift, and Hugh Jackman on a witness stand in a Manhattan federal courtroom starting May 18th. Blake Lively has named her own husband on her witness list as her case against Justin Baldoni, and Wayfarer Studios heads toward trial. Settlement talks have failed twice. Both sides are going to court. Here is everything you need to know. It Ends With Us was released in August 2024. It's based on Colleen Hoover's novel about domestic violence and emotional abuse, directed by and starring Justin Baldoni, who also co-produced it alongside Blake Lively. The film crossed $300 million at the box office. On paper, a success. Behind the scenes, something had gone seriously wrong. The tension was visible even at the premiere. Baldoni told Entertainment Tonight he likely wouldn't direct the sequel. When Lively arrived, Baldoni's group was reportedly moved to a smaller basement theater, not the main screening with the cast. He didn't introduce the film. Lively and Hoover did. On the red carpet, Lively told E! News that Ryan Reynolds had written a fan-favorite scene in the film, despite receiving no writing credit, immediately sparking speculation about behind-the-scenes creative disputes. What the public didn't know yet was that a legal storm had been building for months. On December 20th, 2024, Lively filed a complaint with the California Civil Rights Department accusing Baldoni of sexual harassment and retaliation. The New York Times published a piece titled, "We Can Bury Anyone: Inside a Hollywood Smear Machine." 11 days later, on December 31st, Lively filed a federal lawsuit in New York seeking nearly $500 million in damages. Her allegations were specific. Baldoni allegedly made inappropriate comments about her appearance, inserted unwanted sexual content into filming, kissed her without consent, and discussed his pornography addiction with her. She also alleged that after she raised concerns, Baldoni and Wayfarer Studios hired crisis publicist Melissa Nathan to preemptively destroy her public image before she could speak out a coordinated digital operation she called a smear campaign. Baldoni's team denied everything, calling the negative online reaction to Lively completely organic. One detail that emerged months later added another layer. In April 2025, it was revealed that Lively had actually secured the text messages used in her California complaint through a covert lawsuit she had quietly filed in September 2024 under her inactive company, Van Zandt, with no names attached. Baldoni's team called it a sham. Lively's team said she had nothing to hide. Baldoni fired back. In January 2025, he filed a $400 million countersuit against Lively, her husband, Ryan Reynolds, and their publicist, Leslie Sloan, alleging extortion and defamation, claiming Lively had seized creative control of the film through threats and destroyed his reputation. He also filed a separate $250 million defamation suit against the New York Times. Judge Louis Lyman dismissed both in June 2025. Baldoni missed his deadline to refile. His lawsuit against Lively and Reynolds was gone permanently. Lively's lawyers called it a total victory and complete vindication. In January 2026, 2 days before a summary judgment hearing, the court unsealed hundreds of exhibits. What emerged rewrote public assumptions about the entire case. Ryan Reynolds' text showed him calling two Sony executives textbook ineffectual elderly people with no ideas or thoughtful communication skills, just blunt instruments with 6 catchphrases and about 5 key words. He compared the situation to the Johnny Depp and Amber Heard case, a comparison widely criticized given that It Ends With Us is literally a film about domestic abuse. Documents also showed Reynolds requesting that WME co-founder Ari Emanuel go full Ari on Baldoni. Taylor Swift's texts with Lively were unsealed. In December 2024, alongside a link to a People article where Baldoni described being sexually traumatized by an ex-girlfriend, Swift texted Lively, "I think this bitch knows something is coming because he's gotten out his tiny violin." Co-star Jenny Slate, in her deposition, called Baldoni the biggest clown and the most intense narcissist she had ever worked with. And internally, a Sony Pictures executive, vice president, described Lively as a, quote, effing terrorist after learning she had issued a 17-point list of production demands under threat of quitting. Lively's disclosure documents named a witness list that reads like a Hollywood attendance sheet. Ryan Reynolds is on it. So are Taylor Swift, Hugh Jackman, Emily Blunt, Amber Tamblyn, America Ferrera, Alexis Bledel, Jenny Slate, Gigi Hadid, Scooter Braun, WMEs, Ari Emanuel, multiple Sony executives, and various New York Times reporters. Deadline noted, with some bewilderment, that Candace Owens also appears on the list. The financial stakes behind all these names are significant. Lively's actual damages are estimated at $161 million. She is seeking punitive damages of not less than 3 times that amount. But here's the important nuance. Lively's lead attorney, Sigrid McCauley, was direct. The key witness will be Blake Lively herself. McCauley said as of January 2026, she did not expect Reynolds or Swift to actually testify. Lively's team has consistently argued that those names were pulled into the case by Baldoni's side, not hers. Quote, "It was the Baldoni parties who brought that evidence into this case." On April 2nd, 2026, Judge Lyman issued a 152-page ruling that dismissed 10 of Lively's 13 claims, including her sexual harassment claim. The reason? Lyman determined Lively was an independent contractor on the film, not an employee, meaning federal sexual harassment law under Title VII didn't apply to her. 3 claims survived and are heading to trial: breach of contract, retaliation, and aiding and abetting retaliation. None of them name Baldoni personally. The defendants at trial are Wayfarer Studios and its associates, specifically around the alleged smear campaign. Settlement talks have gone nowhere. A court-ordered conference on February 11th, the first time Lively and Baldoni were in the same courthouse, lasted 6 hours and ended without a deal. Reynolds was notably absent. A second round of settlement discussions on April 7th also collapsed. That same day, Lively's attorneys filed a motion demanding Baldoni disclose whether he even intends to testify, writing that his refusal appeared designed to manufacture a strategic advantage. The jury will focus almost entirely on one central question. Did Wayfarer Studios and its PR partners deliberately retaliate against Lively for raising workplace safety concerns? And did that retaliation cost her over $160 million? Before this dispute, Lively's positive public sentiment stood at 81%. By January 2026, it had dropped to 10.6%. Baldoni's fell from 62.5% to 8.7%. Both are deeply underwater. Neither is walking away.